What's going on? What is going on? Yesterday evening, as I was working, this song came on Spotify Shuffle. It sounded super familiar, and I knew a lot of the words. I knew how the song went overall, but I am certain I had never heard that particular song before. I checked the song, Alabama Song by The Doors. Somehow I knew it, except I didn't. I knew the David Bowie version from 1978. I remember that my dad played it to me when I was a kid. I've not heard it in years. Many years, probably decades to be honest. So I listened to it yesterday. It's just a crazy song. It's so cool. Very strange, admittedly, and I completely understand if it's not everyone's cup of tea. And I listened to it a few times on repeat yesterday. And the more I listened to it, I just thought, I just have to make a video on it. I want to make a video on it. It's quite unlike any other song I've heard, at least in recent times. So this isn't a first time reaction like I usually do. It's more like a reintroduction to the song after 20 years. I will be pausing and speaking and analysing and discussing it. So if you're here to watch the song uninterrupted, please go and watch the video on Bowie's channel. I've left a link in the description for you. Or even if you don't know the song, maybe go and do that anyway, just to get an idea of the song as a whole. So let's get straight into it. There will be loads to mention. I'm not going to mention everything because there's just too much. I'll just pick some of the slightly wackier things we get in this very wacky song.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. No, don't ask why. For we must find the next whiskey bar. Or if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
There, that's 30 seconds. We can immediately see this is not your everyday regular song. There's something fairly harrowing, haunting about it. And, you know, I always say context is everything. So, quick information on the song itself, its origins. It was written for a collection of songs from the 1920s in Germany by Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht, and that was called Mahogany Songspiel, or in English, Little Mahogany, and that was later expanded to become the opera you might have heard of, The Rise and Fall of the City of Mahogany. These two guys also wrote Mac the Knife, probably their most famous work. The whole work, political satire, dystopian undertones, and as such, the music, as we can hear, is quite odd. It's quite strange. I don't exactly think it's meant to make us feel comfortable or relaxed in any way. What genre is this? I'm not sure. It certainly was avant-garde, and it's certainly taking elements from the lower classes of music. Carnival, cabaret, rather than opera, for example. It's creepy, right? So let's talk a little bit about the music so far. I'll try and play section by section in the song because it's very clearly in sections and speak a little bit about each section. So the first 30 seconds, straight away, there's this barrage of instruments.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why.
They're stressing different beats, firstly, not letting us get comfortable with any sort of time signature. The rhythms are usually one of the first things we do to get the feel of music. It takes just a few seconds to be able to identify a time signature, know if it's 3/4 for a waltz, for example, or something else. Here, it's absolute chaos, harmonically too.
No, don't ask why. For we must find the next whiskey bar. Or if we don't find the next whiskey.
If you just listen to that over and over, you'll hear a new instrument in there. I have no idea how many instruments we're hearing, but there are loads. And some of them, I'm sure, are being played in unconventional ways because they're making weird sounds. Just after this, we get some strange vocal harmonies.
I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
It sounds like there's someone almost squealing at the top of it all. If you listen carefully, it's just a bit nuts. The opening 10 seconds...
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar.
Let's just take a very quick look at the harmony. The root here is kind of in C. And I say kind of because it's just difficult to identify. What we're hearing is... If I move everything up close together, could be various things, but then Bowie's melody comes in. Any combination we play, there's no more certainty than before the song even started as to the harmonic roots, really. It's just a bit weird. Then when we go forward...
Don't ask why. No, don't ask why.
This chromatic shift, chromatic undertones. Yeah. Okay, that's the kind of first section. Now let's carry on where I paused. You might have heard for the second or two that I played that it changes. It becomes a bit more melodic.
We must die.
And a key change.
Oh, of Alabama, it's time to say goodbye.
What are the drums doing?
We've lost our good old mama, and must have whiskey, oh, you know why. Oh, moon of Alabama, it's time to say goodbye. We've lost our good old mama, and must have whiskey, or you know why.
And now we've returned back to a section just like the song opened with. Okay, so this next section, section number 2 that we just heard, when it starts after that chaotic opening, it seems like it's some sort of resolution. Oh, okay.
Oh,
how melodic in his voice there with that rich vibrato, a lovely jump up. And then the melody continues. Bowie's voice works so well for this song. I think, just for comparison, let's have a quick listen to the original, a recording from the 1930s. I can't show more than a few seconds because of copyright, so if I show more, maybe I'll speak over it. So this is the start.
Oh, show us the way
Creepy, huh? Very
to the next whiskey bar.
And then when the other voices come in.
Oh, don't ask why.
Oh. And then the next bit we've just been listening to, the next section, Oh Moon of Alabama. It's called Alabama Song.
Oh, Alabama.
Very high because it's women who are singing this song originally. So we have this new section in Bowie.
oh, of Alabama, it's time to
We have the piano jump, 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 keeping us rhythmically grounded. We know what time signature we're in. We can count along 1, 2, 3, 4. And Bowie's melody, whilst he does implement some tempo rubato, literally meaning in robbed time, so he will sometimes slow down or speed up as he wishes. But overall, he is keeping in time with the piano. What usually keeps time for us? The percussions. That's their purpose. Percussion, the drums. That's the purpose of them, to keep time. But the drums here are just playing in a completely different time signature. They are in no way related to the rest of the music.
say goodbye. We've lost our good old mama.
What's going on? What is going on? Context, again, very important. We have to remember the song originally, political satire, mockery of the subject. It's writing about hedonism, this kind of thing, being drunkards, basically making us think, oh, they're not even able to keep in time with each other, these drunken idiots. That's not what happens in the original. But the Doors, who did the cover that came up on my Spotify shuffle and started this whole discovery for me, this is how their version starts. Very umpa, yeah? And you can imagine that being some drunkards walking down the street. We do get that umpa type feel in the bass part here.
Goodbye. We've lost.
Boom, 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 boom. But having the percussion in there, just throwing all sense of rhythm out of the window, which is what the percussion is designed to do, it's a crazy move. It's a crazy move, and the effect, I think, is quite staggering. Moving forward a bit, if we listen in the background, we get these really subtle, sustained, struck chords. They're super trippy.
No, Alabama.
Can you hear that?
It's time to say goodbye.
That type of sound. We hear this kind of mandolin as well.
We've lost.
This is a song where you can listen to it 100 times and every time you'll hear something new in there. Okay, on to the next section. Just like the start.
So what's the way to the next little dollar? Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For we must find the next little dollar. Or if we don't find the next little dollar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
into another, oh, moon of Alabama, it's tight. It just makes you want to sing along weirdly. The contrast between the somewhat melodiousness of that section. Anyway, this section we just heard, much like the opening, just chaos all round. It's a super dark sound. There's enough dissonance in there.
Show us the way to the next little dollar.
That's a new note in there. As mentioned before, these are our notes. And then the melody. But now, this time round, they're adding in this note. How much more exaggerated can you get? They're really drilling home this idea of dissonance. And in the background, we also have this electric guitar that just sounds like a sort of screech going on, or a scratch, like scratching the strings.
For we must find the next little dollar, or if we...
It's manic. It makes our blood pressure increase, for sure. Let's carry on with the Oh Moon section, another temporary resolution.
Oh, moon of Alabama, it's time to say goodbye. We've lost our good old mama, and must have dollar, or you know why. Oh, moon of Alabama, it's time to say goodbye. We've lost our good old mama, and must have dollar, or you know why.
Oh, key change, back we go to chaos. So how's this resolved section slightly different this time? Oh Moon of Alabama.
Oh, moon of Alabama, it's time.
Much more melodic and harmonically sensical, it makes sense, but we have this new obvious idea at the top. So what it's doing here, let me get the piano up, chromaticism. You literally cannot get more chromatic than that. It's just sliding down through, but it's not even a smooth slide, alternating between the notes, and then again, it's jarring in a way. Then we get some melodic ooze coming in.
Oh, moon of Alabama, it's time.
Almost ghostly in a way, or ghastly even. Okay, and let's finish the song now. We move back to the section again like we had at the start.
Oh, show us the way to the next little girl. Oh, don't ask why, no, don't ask why. For we must find the next little girl, or if we don't find the next little girl, I tell you we must die, I tell you we must die, I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
Now it changes again for a final section, which is different to before. We'll get onto that in a second. The main thing here is the addition of...
We must find the next little girl, or if we don't find...
There it is, the tritone. This interval has a huge history in music. Centuries ago, it was known as Diabolus in Musica, the devil in music, because of how it sounds, the frequencies of the notes at that exact interval. Listen to it. It's jarring. It is, especially as it's changing between long and short notes. And how long it spends on the higher or lower note as well. Amidst all this musical chaos, I think our brains try and latch onto something, to anything that we can become familiar with, anything that's repeated, like the Oh Moon of Alabama melody, you know, it's almost like a nice bit of respite from everything else. So if your brain is focusing on that repeating tritone, unfortunately, there's not even any consistency in it with the rhythms. Okay, final stretch of the song now.
It's time to say goodbye. We've lost our good old mama.
The drum part is so
I
interesting.
must have little girl, oh you know why. Oh, moon of Alabama, time to say auf Wiedersehen. We've lost the good old mama and must have little girl. Oh, you know why, you know why, you know why.
And what do they leave us with just after everything else finishes? That one.
You know why.
Is that in the actual bass guitar or the bass pedal of the percussion?
You know why, you know why.
Both, I think. Complete unresolved ending, absolutely manic, speeding up at the end there.
Oh, mama, and must have little girl. Oh, you know why, you know why, you know why.
It's a big ending. We now get unison voices.
Oh, moon of Alabama.
Which allows Bowie to have a separate independent line that's just slightly different, just to add some variety. Then those voices split into harmony.
It's time to say goodbye. We've lost.
And Bowie's independent line is also added uncertainty. We don't know what he's going to do here. The violins then move to the top, so that chromatic descent going slowly down and down and down.
Moon of Alabama. It's time to say.
Tempo increased, truly manic at the end, our heart rates have skyrocketed. And after all of that, all of this incredible attention to detail and care in constructing something so crazy and chaotic and wacky and strange and eerie and haunting, I really like the song. I really like it. It's so weird that I like it. And why I like it, because I feel like, you know, really taking a look at the song, every single thing about it is designed to make you not like it. And of course, this ties into the wider context of the play, political satire written by socialists who are portraying and in turn mocking and critiquing a sort of capitalist hedonism. So there we are, absolutely crazy song. I do recommend going and listening to it all the way through because it's a completely different experience. I wanted this to be a kind of short video, but I think there was just a fair bit to talk about. I only spoke about a fraction of what I could have or wanted to anyway. Yeah, it's just nuts. Go and listen to the Doors version and of course the original. They're just creepy, haunting. Slightly different style of video, I know, but I wanted to do something different for a change. Let me know if you like this type of video or not, if I should never do it again. If you did like it and want to help me by pushing the algorithm, give the video a like, comment, please. Comments really do help. If you don't want to write any words, let's do an emoji like you see on the screen now. Let's go for the theatre masks. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.